Most Reverend Dr. Joseph Mar Thomas, Bishop of Bethany, Most Reverend Dr. Christodas Rajapan, Auxiliary Bishop of Trivandrum, Most Reverend Dr. Stanley Roman, Bishop Emeritus of Ceylon, my dear friend Thomas George, Reverend Father Luis Fernandez, who just celebrated the Mass, my dear friends and families. It's a great privilege to begin this new year with a study of the book of Revelation. I am sure and I hope, it's my firm belief, the study of the book of Revelation from the beginning of this year will help us to go forward with more courage, with more conviction, with more faith, and with more hope and trust. And God will really protect us from all pandemics and from all contagious diseases all through this year. We will really enjoy the liberation of Jesus. So I welcome all of you once again to the study of the book of Revelation, which we begin today. So we shall entrust our classes in the hands of Mother Mary. Let's pray together. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary,
Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now
and the time of our death. Amen. Praise be to Jesus Christ, all of you, my friends. From today, we begin a systematic study of the book of Revelation from chapter 1 till chapter 22 in 10 days, in 10 sessions. So here you see a picture, and the title is given, The Book of Revelation, End of the World or Heaven on Earth. So very often, Book of Revelation is interpreted to create a fear within us that the world is going to end. The end of the world is imminent. But there are different points of view we can interpret the book of Revelation to experience the real heaven on earth and the real heaven which we are going to experience after death. The book of Revelation gives a clear picture of life on this earth and a clear picture of life after death. So I would like to give once again an introduction to the book of Revelation. We know and we have studied already the author of book of Revelation, St. John the Apostle, the beloved disciple of Jesus and brother of James. He was persecuted for faith and was exiled to the island of Patmos. So the person of St. John the Apostle and the place, the rocky island of Patmos. So we have to keep in mind, this is the background setting of the book of Revelation. The author, St. John the Apostle, and the place where he received the revelation of Jesus, the rocky island Patmos. So St. John the Apostle is considered to be the author of the Gospel of St. John and the book of Revelation. Second, the literary style of the book of Revelation. So the Bible, the Latin word for Bible is Biblia, which means a collection of books. There are different types of literature in the Bible. But in the book of Revelation, there is a unique literary style, apocalyptic literary style, which is also found in the book of Daniel. So apocalypse in Greek means to reveal what is hidden. It was a literature prevalent in Israel between 200 BC and 100 AD. So books were written in apocalyptic literary style to give a liberative message to the people, but keeping it hidden from the authorities. So what is the importance of this apocalyptic literary style? When I communicate something, it is understood only by the persons and communities to which or to whom it is intended. Others will not understand. So St. John, when he wrote the book of Revelation, only the faithful understood the meaning, but the meaning was hidden from the Roman emperors. That's why this unique literary style, apocalyptic literary style, speaking and conveying message through signs and symbols is used in this book. Now, what are the characteristics of this book? First, it gives the image of two world view, the world in which we are living, this world, and the world to come. This world is captured by evil powers. Emperors, especially the Roman emperors of that time, are agents of Satan and enemies of God. But God will begin a new world, destroying all evil powers. So that's the message of book of Revelation. The ultimate reign of God. God will reign. All this pandemic, corona, all this will be wiped away. The ultimate victory belongs to God. Second, it speaks about the end of the world. The world is going to end. How it will be. Third, end is imminent. It is going to come. At any time it can happen. Fourth, the book speaks about the resurrection of the dead and final judgment. It gives a clear picture how will be the resurrection of the dead and what will be the final judgment. Fifth, reign of the Messiah. We will experience the reign of the Messiah. Sixth, imageries. It's very beautiful. Imageries are given in the book of Revelation. Seventh, visions and voices. So we see a lot of visions and voices in the book of the Revelation. Eighth and last one, it speaks very much about angels and devils. So these 8 points are the characteristics, the important features of the book of Revelation. I was just thinking, before entering into the chapters, the first chapter, it is important to understand, to have a background of the imageries used in the book of Revelation. Then we will be able to understand clearly the meaning of these imageries. First, numbers. So there are a lot of numbers used in the book of Revelation. Very often we are confused. What does it mean? And very often Pentecostal sects, they misinterpret and give a wrong interpretation, and we are made to confuse. So numbers, there are perfect numbers and imperfect numbers. Perfect numbers are 3, 4, 7, 10, and 12. 3 we know signify the perfection in God. 3 signifies perfection. For example, Trinity, 3 persons. And holy, 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 3 times praising God. Then 4 signifies the 4 corners of the earth. When we read 4, it denotes whole earth and whole creation. The wind blowing from 4 corners, we read. 7 signifies perfection. We read about 7 churches, which means the whole church of Christ. Then again we have the number 10, signifies perfection. Then again we read 10 into 10 into 10, 1,000. It's a big number. 1,000 years. It's a long time, but limited. Then again we speak about 10,000. 10,000 and 10,000 to signify unlimited period of time. Then the number 12, it's an important number. It signifies 12 tribes of the Old Testament, 12 apostles of New Testament, the people of God. Again, we read 12 into 12 into 1,000, 144,000 persons, 144,000 persons, which signify the whole people of God. So all these are perfect numbers. So each number has a specific meaning. Only when we understand the right meaning of the numbers, we interpret the verses of the book of Revelation. Then we have imperfect numbers. Imperfect numbers. For example, 1 by 4, 1 by 3. So that means partial. Revelation 6, 8, and 8, 7 we read. Then we read 3.5 years, 3.5 years. That is half of 7. 7 is perfection. Half of 7 is 3.5. It's a short period of persecutions and agonies. Then again we read the number 666, the most discussed and disputed number 666. So in the last class we have studied the number refers to Emperor Nero, the symbol of all evil powers. So here the number 6, when we calculate 7 minus 1 is 6. 7 is perfection. When 7 minus 1 is 6, which signifies imperfection. So number 666 is the number of satanic symbol, refers to Nero. So the numbers are very important in the book of Revelation, perfect numbers and imperfect numbers. So let's not be confused. And when we go ahead, we will find these numbers in the different chapters. Then it will be easy for us to understand. Now in the book of Revelation, another important factor is colors. It's a beautiful book, full of colors, colorful book of the Bible. For example, white, we read about a white horse coming, which shows happiness, purity. Those who are victorious over evil powers wear white dress. Then red, there is a red horse, which signifies fire, calamities, war, blood, etc. Then black, there is a black horse coming, which points to death due to poverty. Then the color yellow, pale, there is an yellow horse coming, death due to pandemics, the color yellow. Then violet, the prostitute, Babylon, the color is violet, signifies luxurious life. Then the color, the golden color, gold, kingly glory, the power of the Son of Man, power of the empire. So the colors are very important in the book of Revelation: white, red, black, yellow, violet, gold. So only when we interpret the real meaning of these colors, then we are able to arrive at the right meaning. Now the persons and creatures in the book of Revelation. Persons and other creatures in the book of Revelation. For example, Son of Man signifies resurrected Christ, victorious over death and evil. Angel of God, one who announces and executes the will of God. Angel of God. Then bride of the Lamb. Bride of the Lamb. Lamb is Jesus Christ. Bride of the Lamb. Church of Christ. Community of the faithful. So it's a symbol of our community, the church. We are the church. Then elders, the representatives of the people of God, of Israel and the church. Woman, representing the people of God. We read in Revelation chapter 12, woman. Prostitute refers to Babylon, empire persecuting the people of God. So Babylon, Roman Empire, the persecutions are symbolized by prostitute. Then there are 4 creatures representing the creation, praising the glory of God. The 4 creatures. Then Lamb signifies Jesus Christ crucified, dead and risen, Lamb. That very often we speak about the beast, animal, refers to Roman Empire. Then serpent, symbol of evil powers, enemy of God and his people. So there are different numbers in the book of Revelation, different coloration, different persons and creatures in the book of Revelation. Now we have different objects giving important meanings in the book of Revelation. For example, crown shows the power of the king, throne, power of the king, jewels, the beautiful jewels are explained in the book of Revelation. It shows beauty, richness, sword, word of God, divine punishment, destruction. Then trumpets, commanding voice of God. Long robe, worn by the Son of Man, shows priesthood. Palm branches, held by the angels in heaven, palm branches, shows victory. So these are the different objects giving various meanings: crown, throne, jewels, sword, trumpets, long robe, palm branches, etc. Now, different parts of the body are explained in the book of Revelation. Parts of the body. For example, head. Power, it shows power and one who has power and kings. Then horns, power, kingship, king, etc. Eyes, knowledge. 7 eyes point to perfect knowledge. Then wings, speed. So head, horns, eyes, wings. These are the different parts of the body explained in the book of Revelation. Then finally, the creation, the beautiful creation of God is explained in the book of Revelation. Heaven, the sphere of God. Earth, the sphere of man. Sky, power between God and man. Sea, a dangerous sphere, the abode of evil powers. Gehenna, the place of punishment. Harvest, judgment on the just, eternal reward. Wine harvest, judgment on the unjust, punishment. Changes in the nature, sign of the coming of God to execute his judgment. For example, earthquake, darkening of the sun, moon becoming red, etc. My dear friends, how beautiful it is to study the book of Revelation. So we enter into a horizon, a different world, to understand the reality of life, to understand the reality of heaven, the reality of hell, and the reality of life after death. We see everything like a picture before our eyes. That's why we say Revelation is very colorful. It's a beautiful book which is to be correctly interpreted. Now, in conclusion, we are able to say the symbols are taken from the Old Testament. See, whatever I said, explained, all these symbols are found in the Old Testament. We can interpret the symbols going back to the events happened in the Old Testament. Now, what is the purpose? What is the purpose Revelation was written? Is it to show that world is going to end? Now there is corona, there is pandemic, and people try to interpret, oh, the world is going to end. No. The purpose of the book of Revelation is to give courage and hope to the Christians persecuted under Roman Empire. So today, when I read the book of Revelation, the purpose of the book of Revelation is to give me courage to encounter this pandemic situation, this coronavirus, and to have the real hope of the Christians today, the persecution in the modern sense. So the Christians are called, or the humanity is called, to remain faithful until death, and their eternal reward will be in heaven. We are all called to be faithful in prayer, faithful in study of the Bible, faithful in family prayer, faithful in our commitments, family life, priestly life, religious life, whatever it may be, to remain faithful till the end. The faithful people will receive the just judgment, and the unjust will receive God's eternal punishment. The faithful people will receive right judgment, and the unjust, those who abandon God and those who have opted against God, will receive God's eternal punishment. All these will pass away. God's reign will be established and will remain forever. So that's the message of the book of Revelation. So we have to understand in the right perspective. The only purpose, the visions were given to St. John to give courage. John was looking at Roman emperors and he was frightened. And he asked himself, what is the future of the church? And what is the future of the apostles? What is the future of the Christian community in front of these powerful Roman emperors? Jesus said only one thing: do not look at the Roman emperors, look at me. That's why the vision of Jesus was shown to John the Apostle. Look at Jesus and be courageous and have hope and trust in Jesus. So that is the real purpose of the book of Revelation. We have to understand in the right perspective. So that's a brief introduction I wanted to give you, so that you are in the right perspective. You have the right background, so that the right setting, so that you will be able to understand chapter by chapter the book of Revelation.